347, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and or question?
Hey, Ben, it's PJ. How's it going?
Going great, PJ. What's on your mind?
I sort of wanted to have an issue. I want to raise the fact that I have an issue with the way you're displaying the results of yesterday's primary, and not to say that you're wrong. I want to hope to sort of get more out of you.
Okay.
It is true that Hillary won by 18-ish points, and it's continuing to fluctuate as time goes on. But the whole focus from every single liberal source and news outlet that I pay attention to says Bernie has to win Arizona because no matter how well he does in the other two states, Arizona has more of a delegate total than the other two states combined.
Yeah.
However, he disappointed even on that margin. Not disappointed. Rather, he exceeded proportions. He was a disappointment for the favorite of Hillary. He won so much by Idaho and Utah that he got more delegates by double digits than Hillary. But for some reason, and please tell me why, you're saying this. You seem to be displaying this result as a net loss for Bernie. And I heard your point that you were saying that, of course, in order for him to secure a victory, he has to blow out pretty much every state going forward. But the thing that's weird is that there's a sort of dissonance between today, where, again, he got a net gain of delegates over Hillary in yesterday's primary, and when he and times like when he tied one of the earlier states, I forget which, like he almost tied, like by 0.2%, he was behind Hillary, and then the other time where he won Michigan but lost like all the other states because it was such a big deal that he was slated to lose, like according to 538 by like 99% probability. He was slated to lose, but he won, even though not by much, and he lost the other states. So now this is, I mean, even though this was a dreaded primary for Bernie, and he won not Arizona, but he won the overall primary and gained like 10, 11 delegates. Why is this so bad?
So no,
that's all I like to hear.
Okay, great question, and I'm glad you asked that because I'm definitely not casting the night. I'm talking about the entire today. Bernie Twitter, Bernie, feel the burn, was obsessed with the voter suppression in Arizona. Right. Okay. They were so obsessed with that really there was no conversation online much worth anything compared to this suppression conversation. There was really no conversation on the smashing victories that he got in Idaho and in well, I'm sorry, the other one is escaping me right now. What was the third state last night? Somebody, Utah. Thank you. And so, you know, I'm focusing on laser-like focus right now on Arizona, right? Nothing I have said. I've only said one thing that I want us to extrapolate to every other state. Everything else is Arizona. The one thing I want to extrapolate to every other state is that we need to go in and make sure that it's not close. Not because of what the media is saying, oh, it's got to be a blowout for Bernie to have any hope. I'm saying it needs to be a blowout so that we don't even have to talk about voter suppression. So we don't even give the establishment the opportunity, because anytime it's going to be a 49, 48%, 49.5, that gives so much space for the establishment to go in and work their magic, to do what they do. Like we've seen since Florida, since 2000, they are able to get in there and manipulate 500, 1,000 votes. And when the margins are that close, it's easily fixed. I'm sorry, that's what I really believe. So what I'm saying is, for the boots on the ground, the people who are out there campaigning, the people out there phone banking, you know, we need to double, triple our efforts to make sure that in the next few states that it's not even a conversation that we can have, because in my opinion, it needs to be a blowout so that there are no games played, not because of this media narrative saying that Bernie Sanders has to blow out. You know, they're raising the expectations so that if it's not a blowout, that people can be down because it's not a blowout. No, I'm saying the exact opposite. It needs to be a blowout because we don't need to give them room to play games.
All right. And I just wanted to leave on this point. This is more just a comment. You don't really have to respond to it. But Politico, one of the sites that I was watching for the primary results last night, as soon as, and this is pretty much typical, you're not going to be surprised with this, but as soon as Hillary won Arizona, which they called at 1% for some strange reason, they put up an article that said Hillary crushes Sanders, and then something about Trump.
Right. It's even worse than that, right? It says Hillary crushes it updated this morning from Politico, right? Hillary crushes Sanders in Arizona. Sanders picks up 2 states, right? Like, never mind that he trounced her. He devastated her in those 2 states. It's the narrative game, man, that they play all the time.
They still haven't updated it, just so you know. Like, they still have the happy picture of Hillary, A. They still have the fact that she cruises and that he scrambles to keep up with the delegate count. And 3, they still have not updated that article itself.
Right.
To state that he won more delegates than her. I just wanted to point that out.
Thanks for the call, PJ, man. You're spot on with that last part. Absolutely. All right, folks, I wanted to grab that call because the phones were lighting up. I may break the rules and take one more. At 10 o'clock at the top of the hour, we're going to have Michael Brooks call in. He's going to join the conversation about a lot of other things that are happening. But yeah, I want to make sure that you're expressly clear on what I'm saying. If a race is at 49%, 49.5, 49.7, 49.3, right? If the race is that close, you damn well better believe that somebody who loves their candidate is willing to do one little thing to give them the edge to get them over that hump. That's why when you're fighting the establishment, not from a media narrative, forget the media, right? Forget the mainstream media, not from that type of narrative. When you're fighting the establishment from a tactic perspective, you have to blow them away so that they don't have the opportunity for the shenanigans that we saw. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Let's go back to the greatest point for suppression is the result of the Voting Rights Act and them closing over 70% of their polling locations. When you go from 200 in 2012 to 60 and you have a greater turnout, we won't even know how many people got out of line, right? There's no way of measuring unless people are out there counting how many people got out of line and did. That is where the greatest opportunity for voter suppression to occur. And that type of voting suppression disproportionately affects communities of color, the Hispanic community in Arizona, the African-American community. Those are extremely affected, disproportionately affected by the closing of these polling locations. So that speaks to, number one, and I'm sorry, I have to give this bigger point. Number one, we have to get the voting rights reinstated. The Section 5, it has to be. Right. That was a giveaway to the Republican Party. In this primary, it's a giveaway to Hillary Clinton, because as we said at the top of this conversation, you have Hillary Clinton, who benefits from a lower voter turnout, and you have Bernie Sanders, who benefits from a larger voter turnout. Right. In every race, we've seen that phenomenon. When it comes down to the general election, this is going to, it may have helped Hillary Clinton, but whoever's the Democratic nominee, it's going to hurt them in the general election, right? So I don't want us to have I don't want us to forget the fact that this is a broader problem for progressives across the board, right? And I'm saying progressives very generically, people on the left, right? People who aren't really progressives, but they're not as crazy as Republicans, right? I'm talking about general people on the left. Call them what you want. This is a problem for us across the board. And so if it helped Hillary last night, they better not celebrate it, because it'll come back and bite them in the ass, just like it will come back and bite Bernie Sanders in the ass if they're in the general election. Because this is all the result of, at least that first portion, the shutting down of 70% of the precincts, is a result of their ability to do that without any ramifications, without anybody in the Justice Department observing and stopping them. That's the only thing that has stopped them all these years from doing this. All right, last caller, and then I got to set it up for Michael Brooks. What's your name, comment, and or question?